by Bernarde. So many R's. Oh shit. Hello and welcome. My name is Ansu, and today I wanted to see if I have read any of your favorite books. I went out to Twitter to ask what your favorite books were. I just wanted to see if I've ever read any of it, or even if I know of its existence. Here's a video where you could possibly just hate on me for not knowing your favorites. Alright, let's get into it. This first one is from Jordan, and it says, all-time favorite is probably The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I've definitely heard of it, The Count of Monte Cristo. Like, I've heard that. The term in a book elsewhere. I've never read it. I don't even know what it's about, honestly, but let's kind of see what it is. It is a classic. I didn't even know that. Basically, we have Edmund, who's been thrown into a prison for a crime that he didn't even commit, and he learns of a great hoard of treasure hidden on the Isle of Monte Cristo, and he becomes determined not only to escape, but also to unearth the treasure and use it to plot the destruction of the three men responsible for his incarceration. Set in the 1840s, so you can imagine how old it is. It's also been published in the 1840s. It sounds interesting, though. Oh, it's 1,200 pages. In the last 12 months, she thinks that their favorite book is probably The Beautiful by Renée Ahdieh. I've heard of that book. I know what that book is. I just haven't read it. I think I read like one other series by Renée Ahdieh, the Wrath in the Dawn series, and I enjoyed it, but it was not like my all-time favorite. Like, I would love to read more from her or anything. I thought Renée Ahdieh was a good writer, just not someone I would pick a lot of books from. At the time of reading it, I actually enjoyed the series The Wrath in the Dawn. It might not be something that I'm possibly going to pick up, but I've definitely heard of it, and I've heard mixed reviews too, so that's probably why I didn't pick up The Beautiful at all, but yeah. Also, Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev. I've never heard of that. It's actually a romance between chefs. Oh no, it's a romance between a chef and a soccer player. It sounds kind of cute. There's actually a review on here that says this is not a rom-com. I literally thought it was a romance, but it's not. It actually says that it's a romantic comedy, but someone actually put a review up that said this is not a rom-com and it has a lot of serious issues that they're talking about. And Ashna, the main character, who is also a chef, had to deal with a lot of shitty things in her childhood, and basically she had like an alcoholic father and an absentee mother, and she had to live through depression, abandonment issues, and severe anxiety. Yeah, that's a lot of things to deal with. I feel like this is also really packed with a lot of different emotions, and it might not be just a rom-com as I expected. It's actually the second book in the Rajas series, so I might have to actually go back and try to read the first one, which came out in 2019, and see if I like it and go forward from there. It sounds like a good book, but it's also packed with a lot of stuff. I feel like it would be worth checking it out. Wine, Tea, and Paper says Legend Born by Tracy Dion. I read this last year and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so good. I'm definitely looking forward to the next book in the series. Like the last like magical element that was talked about in the book, where she like travels in, I forget, like it was in the memories of someone else, like her ancestors and stuff. She could actually talk to them, basically talking to ghosts. I didn't see that coming, and I thought that was really cool as well. And overall, the story was really sweet. The romance, like, I don't know who to root for at this point. It was just so good. I loved it. It was such a good book. I really enjoyed it. So I understand why it's your favorite. It was really good. I loved it. Jenna is recommending her all-time favorite as a Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have read this. I actually own this too. It's really hard to get it, so I'm not going to do that. But I have read it. I really loved it. I thought it was a really good book. The writing style of Erin Morgenstern had actually led me to get The Starless Sea. Unfortunately, I didn't like The Starless Sea, but that's not the point of this video. I really did enjoy The Night Circus. I thought it was beautifully written. The romance I felt like could have been worked in a little better. I just felt like it was a little sudden, that's all. But then other than that, it was really good. The last 12 months, she says, All Backs Go to Cleveland by C.S. Hill. Jenna has recommended this to me previously, so I have read the synopsis before and I know what it's kind of about. I really need to get to it, but I just haven't. Angela appears more blonde bombshell than the gremlin she is, but there's no denying her supernatural truth after her clumsiness gets her fired from her modeling career. Forced to work for her family's upscale airline, she spends her days slinging luggage and wishing her parents would get off her back about finding a nice gremlin guy to settle down with. Relationships were the last thing on her mind, not that her family would accept that. Dave, his frequent business travel made it next to impossible for him to find a woman who could tolerate his chaotic schedule, which is why he appreciates Angela. Neither of them are looking for love, but Dave feeds Angela's addiction for chocolate, while she provides him with the chaos to keep him on his toes. Yeah, it sounds like a very cute story, and I feel like I would really enjoy it. I just need to get to it. Jenna also says, so far in 2021, it's A Cat's Guide to Bonding with Dragons by Chris Burson. What? I've never even heard of it. Got another recommendation from Shalu, which is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. The novel begins in Monte Carlo, where our heroine is swept off her feet by the dashing widower Maxim de Winter and his sudden proposal of marriage. Orphaned and working as a lady's maid, she can barely believe her luck. It is only when they arrive at his massive country estate that she realizes how large a shadow his late wife will cast over their lives, presenting her with a lingering evil that threatens to destroy their marriage from beyond the grave. Does that not sound creepy? That sounds a bit creepy. Some of my favorite booktubers also rated this. One of them says that the first half was a little slow for them. The other just gave it a 5 stars. It's a new favorite of theirs. So I don't know. It sounds really intriguing. Kay mentioned Lovely War by Julie Berry. I will always show off this book whenever I can. It is such a great book. It's a little slow, but oh my god. It is packed with emotion and love, and it's so good. If you haven't picked this one up yet, please do. You will absolutely adore it. I hope so, at least. It basically falls around Aphrodite talking about love and love stories and stuff. It's very cute. Definitely pick it up. I definitely agree with Kay. It's definitely a very good book. Kishnook said, Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I'm reading it now. I'm almost halfway done. And oh my god, it's so cute. I can totally say it's one of my favorite romances ever. Like, it is the best Brown Sisters book, and I am so happy that I'm reading it. It's so cute. I love it. It's so good. Lo said Mr. Lubberman by Bernardine Evaristo. I hope I'm saying that name right. I said it like 10 times already, and I just feel like I'm saying it wrong. Anyway, this is basically following around Britain's older Caribbean community and taking over cultural myths, and it's supposed to be very lighthearted and funny and sweet. And I feel like I would love this character a lot, to be honest. Sasha said her favorite was The Nowhere Girls, I'm assuming by Amy Reed. I've actually never heard of this, but basically 3 misfits are coming together to avenge the rape of another fellow classmate. Definitely gives me vibes of The Female of the Species. If it is that brutal, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with it. But it sounds like something that I would definitely enjoy, to be honest. We're in like a very small town kind of a situation. We're trying to be like honest about rape culture, and that sounds really good, to be honest. I feel like it'll also be very impactful and filled with too much emotions, maybe a little bit of brutality. We'll see how it... I don't know, man. But like after reading The Female of the Species, I feel like anything is very mediocre. Lindsey said her favorite book is Howl's Moving Castle. Never heard of that one either. Y'all have some like classic books in here, which I have honestly never even heard of. This one is by Diana Jones, and essentially Sophie has the great misfortune of being the eldest of 3 daughters, destined to fail miserably should she ever leave home to seek her fate. But when she unwittingly attracts the ire of a witch of the waste, Sophie finds herself under a horrid spell that transforms her into an old lady. Oh, that's so sad. Her only chance at breaking it lies in the ever-moving castle in the hills, the Wizard Howl's castle. To untangle the enchantment, Sophie must handle the heartless Howl, strike a bargain with the fire demon, and meet the Witch of the Waste head-on. Along the way, she discovers that there is far more to Howl and herself than first meets eye. Where do you guys find these books from? This sounds really creepy and good, to be honest, and I'm kind of living for it. Bree's Book World actually mentioned The Book Thief, which I have read, and I've really enjoyed it in the past. I thought it was a really good book. It's somewhere up here, I think, and I really like it. Anna from the Reader Friend says Counting Down With You by Tashi Buyan. I have heard of that book. I just don't know exactly what it was about. I feel like it's supposed to be a contemporary romance type of situation, and it actually came up pretty recently in May. It sounds really good, and clearly you liked it, so I feel like it should be good, right? I need to get to it. We'll see. May recommended The Savior's Champion. This is the first book of a series, and Tobias doesn't care about the savior. He doesn't care that she's the ruler of the realm or that she purified the land, and he certainly doesn't care that she's of age to be married. But when competing of her hand proves to be his last chance to save his family, he's forced to make the savior his priority. There are a bunch of trigger warnings for graphic violence, adult language, and sexual situations. It sounds like it has a really good pace, and it kind of also sounds like it's going to be like a competition-esque kind of a situation where Tobias is trying to get into the good graces of the ruler person, which sounds really cool. It sounds very intriguing. I should really check that out too. I'm just adding on to my TV. This is not going to end well for me. Yaris actually recommended Marfil or Urbano Theology by Mercedes Ron. I can't speak of this. What language is this? I have no idea what language it is. It kind of looks like Spanish, or I'm being very racist right now. I don't even know. I'm glad it's your favorite. I have no idea what that book is about. And finally, we have Ari, who said Amari and the Night Brothers was her favorite. Kind of looks like middle grade with supernatural things going on. I am unfortunately not a huge fan of middle grade. I don't know. For some reason, it just did not work that well for me whenever I read middle grade. It's not the best experience that I have. This does look really cool. I've never heard of it either. Those were all the books that were mentioned in that little tweet. Thank you to every single one who was able to comment, and it's so cool. I found so many books that I've never heard of, and I probably would never have even heard of if I didn't actually put that tweet out. If you've never heard of any of these books and you find it interesting, please do go check them out, because I found some of them to be very interesting. And yeah, that is everything from me. I hope you all enjoyed this little video from me. I'll see you all next time with another one. Until then, I'll talk to you all in the comments. Bye!